Okay, so your 4 ingredients for making the sourdough, you have your sourdough starter, salt, flour, and water. You want to find a big container to put your dough in. You're gonna put it on your scale and then zero out your scale. Typically I start with the salt, 20 grams of salt. And then we're gonna go 200 grams of, so you could zero it out again. We're gonna 200 grams of your starter. So the starter should be a little bubbly, at least a little bubbly. Could be a little bit more bubbly than it is, but it'll still work, I think. So I need to be able to see my scale. So I'm gonna go 200 grams of this. Okay. Next thing I put in is 750 grams of kind of lukewarm water, so kind of medium warm water. And then 1,000 grams of flour. Zero it out again. Unless you want to add them all up, you can. So. All that stuff away, you can pull it off. Now we're going to use your dough whisk to just mix all this ingredient together. And they get to what they call a shaggy mess, is the consistency that it turns out to be. Okay, so now you have your shaggy mess. I try and get the most of it off of my whisk as possible. You're done with the whisk at that point. Now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna cover it, leave it on the counter for 30 minutes. That's your first bulk rise time. I'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes and we're going to do what's called a stretch and fold. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab in, it works better if you have a kind of a wet hand. So you're gonna grab and go quarter turn and pull up and then down. So you're gonna do 4 of those. So if you get 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And it's gonna just kind of be like that. What it will do now, we're gonna do that every 20 minutes now for 3 more times. And it will, in between those 20 minutes, it'll just kind of meld back into your pan. So you just cover it, set a timer for 20 minutes, come back and do that 3 more times. Okay, so I've done this 3 times. This is my 4th stretch and fold. You can see the texture starts to kind of get a lot smoother than it was the first time. We're just going to do the same thing again. Grab, lift, fold it to the middle. Grab, lift, fold it to the middle. 4 times. And then what we're going to do is this is going to sit on the counter for at least 3 hours. So we're going to go out, have some fun, come back tonight, and we'll check it out, see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the dough after it's sat for a few hours. Usually it's a little more bubbly and a little lighter, but I think it'll still work. We're gonna put it out on a flat surface, pour it out, and we're gonna split it in 2 because this is gonna make 2 loaves. Typically it should kind of fall out of suck out of the container. I'm gonna help it along. So we have our dough out. Yeah, this is a little thicker dough than we usually do. I'm gonna do some flour so it doesn't stick, and then I'm gonna divide it in half, roughly. I am going to stretch and fold this one more time. So I'm gonna grab underneath it, I'm gonna pull it and go across the middle. I'm gonna pull it, go across the middle, pull it, stretch it, go across the middle, and do it one more time from the other direction, across the middle. Okay, so this half is ready to be formed into a loaf. So what I'm doing is I'm turning and I'm stretching over the top and I'm tucking underneath. So with my hands, I want a kind of a smooth surface. So I'm tucking as I turn. And what it's doing is it's stretching over the top of the bread. Okay, so I do that, I don't know, half a dozen times. And then what I'm going to do is stretch it, and stretch it, and stretch it, and stretch it. So that makes this top tension nice and tight. Okay, this loaf now is ready to go into a banneton. In this banneton, I'm going to put a little bit of rice flour so that it doesn't stick in the banneton. So I just kind of put some rice flour into this banneton, and what it'll do is it'll allow this loaf to come out. I'm going to flip it upside down so that I have my kind of fold marks on the bottom like that. Okay, do the same thing to the other loaf. So I'm going to stretch and fold it all different directions. Stretch and fold it. Fold it. Gets sticky, just put some flour on it. And go back over the top. Now I'm ready to do my turns on it. Make it so it's not so sticky. So it's really with that left hand, I'm kind of tucking underneath. Turning with the right, tucking with the left. Okay, once I feel like I've kind of got a good shape, I'm going to kind of pull and tension over the top. Now that one's ready to go into the second banneton. Okay, so now I've got 2 loaves ready to go in the refrigerator to proof overnight. And we'll bake them in the morning. Okay, so we've been sitting this overnight, so we're going to drop it out. These look a little small, not sure why, but we're gonna score the bread. With whatever design you like. It's gonna go into the oven. Rice flour didn't work quite as well on this one. Trick I learned to keep the bottoms from burning is to put some rice in the bottom of your containers. Okay, super hot. This is a half cup, so maybe a quarter cup in each one. Drop these in there, kind of drop it. Don't know why, but that's what they say. And I'm going to add some cheese to one of them. And we're going to bake them for the 500-degree oven for 25 minutes. And then we'll take the lid off and then brown them for 10 minutes. So it's been 25 minutes. We're going to take the lids off so that it can brown and lower the temperature just a little bit to 425 and then cook for another 10 minutes. Classically, I do get a browner one over this in this Dutch oven than I do in the lodge. Not sure why.